Now, according to the fans of this show and the people who actually really love this series, some of them have told me that I would really, really enjoy this next one. Don't know why, but hey, if it's anything to break from the monotony of what's going to go through. So here we go, episode 7, A Broken Art. The worldwide Earth pony scanning was conducted. Pretty soon, internment camps were invented, then gas chambers, and soon it became a worldwide regime, only known by its friends as the Final Solution. Cigar! The planet was made aware of the first search, and everyone complied, allowing Starfleet to visit each home and scan every single Earth pony with their visors and magic detectors. I really, really don't think every pony family would agree to this, especially considering the wide population of Earth ponies on this planet. I really don't see them doing that. Why? Because this is kind of an invasion of privacy. You can't really expect the military to just come and say, hey, we suspect you of wrongdoing, and just say, let me scan. That's kind of wrong. The Phantom of Magic used modern magic that couldn't hide from detection. So far, not a single Earth pony was detected to have any kind of magic of any kind. Hey! My best friend is an Earth pony, and he has plenty of magic. He has the magic over the Earth. He makes things grow easier. He is stronger than me, more durable than me, could take a hit better than me. He has plenty of magic. It's called Earth Pony Magic. All Earth ponies have magic within them. All ponies have magic. Are you sure you went to school? Because I don't think you did. I don't think you know how Earth Pony Magic works. They were simply scanned, and it was over just like that. Thank you for your time, the officers would say. Again, you really mean to tell me that they wouldn't mind this? The ponies didn't mind a bit. Hi, unrealism! I'm ignored! Do you know how real life operates, writers? Because I don't think you do. Here's a hint. If you have a police officer come barging down your door and saying that they suspect you of something without a warrant, people are going to be afraid and they are going to push back. They're not going to go, they felt they were practically helping Starfleet out. That's a naive look into life. Maybe you just think that people with power will instantaneously mean, oh, we should obey you, but it don't work like that. We don't obey just because a guy has a badge and has a higher diploma than us. The more ponies detect out clean, that meant they were getting closer to the Phantom. They hope. Yeah, I could see how easily you were going to do that for the millions of Earth ponies out there. Teams were even sent out to visit other planets to help further sorts, in case the Phantom's hideout was not on United Equestria. One of those planets was Monotane, a planet inhabited by prestigious rich creatures and even ponies, including ones originally from Unicorpia. What's a rich creature? Is it like a kitten made out of gold? Is it a puppy made out of gold? Definitions! Work on them! It was protected by a small Starfleet outpost, but it required a little extra help to scan all the Earth ponies on the planet. So why did the Earth ponies decide to leave Equestria and go to this random planet? Shh! Oh. So Lightning and a few of the others came to help out. Rarity was ever so excited to be visiting a planet where the Prince and Proud did well, but Spike felt a little insignificant in going. Oh, really, Spike, said Rarity. If anyone asks, you'll be my servant boy. Rarity would not be so insulting as to call Spike her servant boy. She would call him something more noble, like her lad in waiting, or her helper, or her trusted assistant, or her faithful assistant, or she would remind them that he is Twilight's son. Actually, now that I think about it, that's far more likely what Rarity would say. She would just say, and I quote, "This is Twilight Sparkle's son, i.e., he is the son of a princess. He has just as much right to be here as the rest of you." And she would defend him. "Rarity!" snapped Starla. "Stop acting out of character." No, it's okay, Starla, said Spike. He gazed up at Rarity almost lovingly. I wouldn't mind being Rarity's servant. Hello! Rarity smiled down, and Spike looked away feeling all shy. No, if Rarity looked down, Spike would be going gaga. Starla and Lightning gazed at each other and playfully rolled her eyes, knowing how shy Spike was still about his song, but it wasn't important to think about that now. Actually, it was loads important, but why let a little thing like romance stop us, huh? Artie was with them as well, but he didn't seem to be very thrilled about Monotone. When asked why, he didn't seem to be up talking about it. You know, if you're not feeling up to it, you could go back if you want, Lightning offered. Well, Lightning, are you okay? That was compassion. Dude, bravo! No, Artie simply said. I'm going to carry out my duties and put personal feelings aside. It's what makes a good officer, but not what makes a good human. The others could only sense something bothering him now, and whatever it was, they were sure to find out. They arrived on the planet, and Rarity's eyes glistened at the stunning beauty. So many mansions, prestigious hotels, and classy clubs. Certain, when you tell me it's a rich planet, I'm expecting buildings made out of gold, diamonds, and crystals, not many mansions, prestigious hotels, and classy clubs. Because now all I'm asking is, how the freak does the economy work? Only a small portion of this place puts new council off the shame. Ah, that's why! She cried. She was so enraptured, she almost drooled with envy. Lightning kept her reminded. Captain, keep in mind, we are here on a reconnaissance mission. So you're all curious, and you don't think that would help us? Look, I'm an idiot, alright? Rarity never thought it was so hard to keep her mind focused. Again, I'm completely on Rarity's side here. Why should I be wrong with her? Nevertheless, they rendezvoused with the Starfleet outpost, and everyone set out to work. They set up several small posts, and all the Earth ponies were lined up to take turns being scanned and checked clean. I repeat, the horror of this is just staggering! Spike got to work with Rarity, while she scanned the ponies. He would check them off the list. Rarity found it hard to concentrate as she couldn't stop admiring the sights of the wonderful buildings. Just imagine how lovely and dressed the ponies look. She had so many new ideas for fashion trends. Nice job, Rarity. Keeping your business in line. Good job. Spike checked out the list to see if the ponies were cleared. It made him happy to help her, but a little sad as well. It reminded him of the many times he would do checklists for Twilight. A small tear fell on the clipboard. Spike, are you alright? Asked Rarity. Spike wiped his eyes clean. Yeah, I'm okay. Rarity then knelt down and gave Spike a hug, saying it would be alright. The checkouts went smoothly, and all the Earth ponies were checked out clean. Many of them were cooperative. Thick. I don't think you've ever met a real human in real life. But some acted pompous and rude towards it all. This is most outrageous, a lady complained. Scanning us like we were products and suspecting us like criminals. It wouldn't be the pompous people who did this. It would be the commoners. It would be the innocents who would be going, I didn't do anything. Why are you scanning me? It would be some of the people who have done something wrong. Please, I didn't do anything wrong. It would be the nervous people, the anxiety disorders. They would be going, no, I don't want to be scanned. It's not just the rich and fabulous. I'm sorry, ma'am, but we have our orders, and under the terms of Starfleet restriction in this quadrant, you must comply. My God, a lot of these chapters have the worst spelling errors. Did he just pump this out real quick? Lightning said. Starla nodded and said, we're searching for an evil point that's terrorizing others. This may be our only lead to tracking him down. Refusal to comply with our terms may result in further suspicion and interrogation under close arrest. Again, how horrifying. The lady was forced to comply and be scanned. She checked out clean. Another pompous pony rudely replied, I have no idea why you Starfleet ponies would think that we have the right to invade our privacy like this. Yeah! Starlight glared at him angrily and softly said, we sent the message in advance, sir. This is not peering into your private lines, but if you have any other suggestions, we're all ears. Why not just go to a Starfleet outpost in outer space and proceed to scan it that way? Or how about proceeding to actually, make a giant radar rather than personally checking us out like this? The stallion had no other ideas and got on with the checkout. I have a billion ideas, but you're not going to listen. Soon all the ponies had been checked out and they were all checked clean. I never knew so many ponies could be so ignorant and rude. Spike, you're an idiot. Verity would have protested, but she agreed with him. She's also an idiot. If I were one of them, I would gladly take my time to help others do their job. Lightning and Starlight giggled softly. Excuse me? Oh, come on, Rarity. When you were first in training, you acted just like they did. Lightning, shut up. And yeah, do you think it's mainly because Rarity is not a soldier? Do you ever think that maybe Rarity wants to be a dressmaker instead of a soldier fighting in an endless war? Do you ever think that maybe Rarity would not want to be a part of all of this? Do you ever think Rarity just might have decided she wanted to, live her life as a dressmaker? Rarity blushed in embarrassment, remembering all the times she whined and complained about the training being too tough and too dirty for her to handle. Actually, I have it on good word. She found it too easy. Yes, but I learned her to become better since then. She's always been better. But this show just continues to want to insult her. Oh, is that why you stepped in mud? What? Mud? Oh, okay. Rarity cried and began to fuss and whine about it. But when she gazed down her boots and found it perfectly dry, there was no mud. The others couldn't help but laugh at her softly. Ha 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 ha! Your attention to detail and your desire to keep clean makes us laugh at you so earnestly. Ho 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 ho! Spike did all he could do was burst out laughing. Suddenly he noticed Ari wasn't with them. He saw him up ahead. He was gazing at a large mansion in the distance. Gazing deeply at a queer... Sorry. I know it's immature, and I know queer is an old term meaning strange, but... modern day has ruined that word for me. Oh, I can be so very mature some days. On his face, part anger, part sad, but mostly disappointment. Just as the team were about to approach and question him, a big coach pulled him in front of him. Phoom! Alright, you mangy maggots! I want you all to line up! This is how we're gonna play the game! Not that, coach! Two prestigious space alicorns peeked out through the windows. Otho! The stallion called. Ari turned to gaze at him, and his expression stiffened. But he approached them calmly and nodded at them. Mother. Father. The others could hear and were amazed. His parents, pepped Starla, and it made them all realize that this was where Ari used to live. No duh! Starla, any other observations you would like to offer us? His mother, Marigold Bell Bristles, a marigold-colored alicorn, and her ID code was WK6Y. Wacky? And her husband, Dunebank Bristles, an orange-yellow orange alicorn. His ID code was VJ5X. Vegix? Both were very rich, but gazed at their son strangely, with no less than disapproval and disappointment in their eyes. So, this is why you left us to join Starfleet, so you could get into messes and get mixed in other tiny problems? His mother asked in a downhearted tone. Ari shook his head. It's a good life, and I'm actually helping to sort out bigger problems. I'm proud of what I do, and deep down I know you are both proud of me too. His parents sighed. His father could only say with a downhearted attitude, all we couldn't be is more disappointed. They then sat back in their coach and signaled the driver to go ahead, right into their house, leaving Ari to gaze disappointedly into their sight. Artie? Lightning said. I know. He said, the truth comes out at last. I used to be rich. I used to live here. I never told anyone because I don't like to think about it. And I just didn't want anyone to start pitying me or anything. Is it really that bad? Ari shut his eyes and decided to tell them everything when they got back to his place in United Equestria. That evening, after returning home, delivering the reports and being off duty. Oh, they actually have off-duty hours! I am shocked! He went to Ari's and he invited him to his basement. It blew dust off an old box. Verity called to sneeze softly. Rarity, why are you here? I don't know. This is to be between friends. This is a box where I keep paintings I just didn't have the heart to complete, said Ari as he went through them. Especially this one. He pulled out an incomplete painting, showing his old house on Monotaine, the beginnings of what obviously were of his folks, and himself as a cult. There was one other painting, too, that of an elderly pony. My grandfather. It started way back. Writer, here's a lesson for you. Do not chase POVs in the middle of your sentence. Ugh. My grandfather was a former Starfleet fighter. He served many years in the service, but also was a well-to-do pony. Always polite young gentleman. Many jobs and worked each day to fullest to helping each other out. With all his jobs and loyalty to the Force, he accumulated a small fortune. After many years of serving Unicorpia well, he decided to retire and move to Monotaine to live in peace, taking his daughter, my mother, Marigold, with him. Monotaine was discovered many years ago by astronautic missions to find new worlds to inhabit or live apart on. Monotaine became known as the rich people's planet. Everyone was always so wealthy and living it soft. Many of them were well-to-do, like Grandpa. And the economy doesn't look like that. Okay, so it was basically a rich retirement home, alright? Thank you. Sadly, my mother was always like a few others, spoiled and often caring more about money and profit, adding Boris and pompous to others who felt different. But there were so many rich people on that planet, then how could she think that she was different from all of them if everybody was rich? I mean, if everybody was rich there, then that means there were no poor people! Eventually, Grandpa lost patience and decided to teach his daughter a value of money and be a good pony through hard work and understanding, but also all through caring and sharing. Then why not move? It failed, and my mother remained as spoiled as ever. So badly, Grandpa disowned her and threw her out of his home for her bad behavior. By that time, she had already met my dad, who shared her points of view with money. So she moved in with him, and they started their own business of training and exchanging, and even auctioning. But their attitudes remained as worse than ever. Even when they got married, to them, marriage was equally more of a business than a joy. Long after I was born, my folks decided to model me into a version of them, to think and behave just like them. Strangely enough, I didn't see money the way they did. I knew out of all the things it could bring, I knew it couldn't bring love, true happiness, or even the right kind of safety. No, but good golly, Archie, you're going to make a good living doing it. My folks didn't have much time for me, which was how they preferred it. The only times we were together, they would talk about businesses and plans, and of course more money. They even decided for me that I was going to follow in their footsteps and carry out the family business. But I was already more than displeased with the way they treated me. Yet whenever I spoke up for myself and questioned their ways, they scolded me very badly and sent me to my room. Of course I was allowed to visit with Grandpa. That was my favorite place to be. I liked hearing stories about Starfleet and all of his adventures. He showed me the love and happiness I craved, better than my parents ever did. He even showed me how to channel frustrations to activities like drawing. He used to draw a lot whenever he was upset, so I had a go at it. That's when I first began to develop my passion for art. I practiced constantly, and as I got older, I got better, and then switched to painting. Grandpa also taught me some of his old martial arts moves to help me challenge more of my anger. At times, if I felt really angry in the ways that art couldn't help me alone, with his training I began to develop my regular alicorn magic. Grandpa thought I was really talented, but needless to say, my monks were less than thrilled, and claimed Grandpa was filling my head with dreams and fantasies that were all a waste of time and effort. That really hurt me a lot, especially since one of my incomplete paintings was that of me standing with them. I wanted to paint our picture to show it was still my parents. Deep down, I hoped they actually loved me like a real son. It seemed as if it was all for naught. I just couldn't finish the painting. It meant nothing to my folks, and only filled my heart with more sadness. So I began to paint a picture of my grandpa. Okay, this next song is about a sloth. It's based off of a sloth song from Sesame Street. However, Since I refuse to sing that, I think I know of a better song for this from a show I love so much. And a one, and a two, and a three. Mirror, tell me something. Tell me who's the loneliest of all. Mirror, tell me something. Tell me who's the loneliest of all. Mirror, that's inside me. When the heart be turned to stone. Silence. Dum bum dum dum da 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 dum bum bum dum dum da dum da dum bum dum 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 da da dum bum bum da da dum. Mirror, mirror, what's behind you? Hiding me from the things I see. I could keep it from the world. Why won't you let me hide from me? Mirror, mirror, tell me something. Who's the loneliest of all? I'm the loneliest of all. Thank you, Ruby. And now back to the others. Lightning and Starla felt sorry for Artie, and Rarity was sobbing and dabbing her eyes with a hanky. Wow, Lightning, Starla, your friend is over there bearing his soul, and you're just like, oh, sucks. Just bravo. Some friends you are. Before I could finish Grandpa's painting, he passed away, and a part of me died with him. My parents only seemed to be equally devastated, but again, they seemed more concerned about how much everything could cost them. I couldn't believe they had such empty hearts. Finally, there came a day that they pushed me too far. That night, I sat in my room sulking. My parents were off at gatherings with some business partners of theirs to go over and discuss the tragic events, and feeling it would be better if I had just left home to make my own life. Maybe even joined Starfleet to help carry on Grandpa's legacy. Suddenly, a rock was thrown through my bedroom window with a note attached to it. A blackmailer's note. Our planet had been invaded by thieves from outer space. They captured my parents along with many other ponies, and were holding them hostage at the old hall. The note read, "If you ever want to see your parents and the others alive again, bring 10 million in gold coins to town hall by midnight." My blood turned cold with worry. My folks weren't very nice, but even I felt they didn't deserve to get hurt. I could even see town hall from afar. Starfleet wasn't as developed as it was back then, and there weren't too many forces outside the building. If Starfleet had been around for 1,000 years, then how come they weren't as developed as they were back then when you were only, what, 10? Obviously, the hostages were being held by the thieves inside, threatening the officers to make any moves or they'd kill them. I couldn't let this happen. Not to my folks, not to the others who had been captured. So I did what I thought was right. I loaded the amount of gold demanded from our safe into a briefcase, and set out on my own. I managed to sneak in through a back entrance of Town Hall, left unguarded. "Hello?" I called out. "I have the money!" A split second later, the lights came on. I found myself staring face to face with 5 boar-like creatures, armed with huge laser guns. "So, you got the cash, eh?" snorted the boss. "Fork it over!" I opened the case and showed them the gold. Their eyes glistened with green, and a couple of them drooled like the sloppy pigs they were. The boss took the case from me to count the gold, and ordered his boys to send me to the town hall with the others, and kill me along with everyone. I couldn't believe how double-crossed I was, but I was dragged into the next room, where I found my parents and all the others tied up and gagged. I was to be down there with them, but luckily I had a break. The 4 other boars began to argue who would get to tie me up, and their boss was too busy counting up with the money. His back had turned. "Wow, I thought you guys would have argued over who got to kill first, but tied up shows how smart you guys are." While the boars continued to argue, I remembered all the training that Grandpa taught me. I swiftly kicked them all hard in a quadruple play, and naturally sent them skidding across the floor, knocking one of them unconscious. The boss had turned around, but I danced over and snatched the briefcase back. I used him bash hard in the face. "Get that kid!" he shouted. The boars started to gang up on me, and I began to fire at me with their guns. But I swiftly dodged out of their every move and began to take down each one by one. I forced one to shoot at me, but I ducked, causing a break in the column that fell on him. Another ran out of ammo, and I decided, alright, let's make this interesting. And I stood ready for a fight. The boar's sloppy combat skills and slow speed made it easy for me to conk out. The last one, pointing his gun against my head, told me not to move. I slowly around with my hands up high, acting scared. The board prepared to kill me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3! I shouted, and I used my magic to flip kick the gun from his hand. "How's that using your magic? That's just you using your own physical abilities!" It hit him in the face, knocking him out cold. I quickly grabbed their guns and tossed them out open window, hoping Starfleet officers would see it and think the boars were surrendering so I could move in. But I forgot about the boss. He sat the briefcase I had sent down and began to make off for it. "Hey!" I shouted, and chased him out there with the back way I came in. At the same time, Starfleet officers came in to help the hostages. I chased the boss to a hill on top of a lone pine tree, demanded he hand over the briefcase. "You going to nick me, punk?" he snarled at me. I couldn't stop my fists. I broke off a long, thick branch from a tree. It wielded it like a staff, showing off my many moves and skill I had learned. The boar just gave in and surrendered in fear of me beating him up worse. He handed over the briefcase and ran back, begging the others to lock him up. "Just get me away from the kid." As for me, I couldn't believe what I had done. I single-handedly saved everyone. I never felt so scared in my life. It took me a short while to pick myself up and head home. When I got there, I saw my folks were home safe and sound. But the second they saw me, they really let me have it. "Arthur, how dare you use money from our safe to bother with those awful bulls!" Dad shouted. I was shocked by his tone of voice. "I was just trying to help, because we could easily spare it." "Enough!" Mom shouted. "You had no right to take this money or get involved. You are going to have an awful long time to think about it and start planning for your future." Dad angrily opened the case to examine the coins. "There better not be a single coin missing." Right there. That was the very last straw. Every last ounce of care and respect I had for them completely diminished. Just then there was a knock on the door. I answered and found a huge gathering of reporters at the door, along with the others I helped saved. "That's him!" one of them shouted. "That's the kid who saved us! How did the parents get there so quick?" The reporters went crazy, taking my picture and asking me 100 questions a mile an hour. My folks came to the door, and the reporters began to question them. "How does it feel to have such a clever son? Aren't you proud of your hero son?" My parents were shocked and amazed by all this, but they answered, "Yes, we are proud and glad he helped and saved our money." That's when I stepped in and announced. In fact, they are so grateful that my parents decided to donate the money I used to the Children's Foundation of our town and promote a good source of help and protective contributions that would make our world a better place. But if everybody's rich on this planet, why is there a Children's Foundation? My parents were shocked, but applauded and gave handshakes and had their pictures taken multiple times as I go along with the idea. Then I shot at my father's hand and patted my mother's shoulder as I quietly told them, "You can keep all your money and plans for yourselves. I'm going to make a life on my own." Yeah! That was the last time I had ever spoken to them in a long time. I went to the Starfleet outpost, requesting to be taken to Unicorpia, as I was interested in joining Starfleet. The officers were willing to do so as compensation for my heroism, but of course they had to get approval from Grand Ruler. They sent him an intergalactic message. In almost no time at all, he himself had come to the planet, expressing his approval for my outstanding bravery, caring, and capabilities. He gladly invited me and escorted me to Unicorpia to attend the academy. As if that wasn't enough, he was charmed by my artistic talents and brought some of the paintings. He paid a handsome fee for them, and allowed me enough to buy my own home and open my own gallery. I'm actually really impressed by this backstory. I mean, granted, once again, it got really, really childish for its age range, but this backstory is actually decent. It shows off why Artie learned to use post-staff. It gave us good motivations for why why he wants to become a hero. It gave us a good backstory and allowed us to see why he is who he is, and also gave us plenty of background information on him, and allowed him to show where he can go as a character. And it's a completely relatable motivation, unlike Lightning's, who's just, my parents are dead! He is, I want to prove myself to be a true hero. And I can get behind that. This is pretty good. I'm shocked that maybe this is going to be a little more interesting than I expected. Ari gazed down at his unfinished paintings. I really feel like I've made a difference. That's why I don't let my past get to me. But deep down, I still bear resentment to my folks, hoping they would see the light and change their ways. But obviously they haven't. So I just continue the way I am. Lightning walked over and patted his friend on the back. You're a good guy, Artie. And if your folks can't see that, that's the problem. There was not an agreement, and Artie smiled warmly at them. I have no idea why I'm here, really. Why am I in this chapter? Well, why am I even in this episode? Why am I here? I have no point. But Krista burst in. Guys! Guys! She cried. Krista, what's wrong? Krista took a moment to catch her breath and explained how she and her fairies were also carrying out surveys on Grand Ruler's orders to double-check their planets and mark them as checked. She and her guards were on Monotone after Lightning and team left, but they were about to leave the planet was attacked by the Phantom. What? He could warp through space as well? It's almost like we have space bridges or something! Easily accessible space bridges that just act like slides! But that would be madness! That would be shocking! It's like, you know, we have technology that allows us to go through space! Interesting! Apparently, cried Krista, we tried to evacuate the ponies to safety, but we couldn't get them all out in time. Come on, let's go, cried Starla. Krista was about to warp them all to Monotone when the alarms went off. What now? Thinking fast, Spike split the team up. Starla and I will stay here. You guys head back to Monotone. The teams agreed to split up. And Lightning and Starla are officially the boring part of the story. Lightning and Starla ran outside to meet up with the rest of the gang. What's going on? Starla asked. Look sharp, Mail. The Phantom's on the loose, Applejack said. Lightning and Starla were shocked and confused right then and there. Of course, it could be shadow clones. It could be robotic clones. Trying to work on it. Meanwhile, back at the motel, the others made it back to Monotone and could see the damage done. Several ponies had their cutie marks and magic stolen. Not just the Earth ponies, but the Pegasi and unicorns as well. Many of them were okay. Yeah, I can imagine the Pegasi and unicorns, since we've already established he's gone after both sets. Just badly shot, but theirs had gotten beaten up and were on stretchers in the paramedics. Oh no, they had gotten beaten up, those poor souls. I hope they didn't hurt their pinky. Oh my, cried Verity. How much can this go on? Artie questioned one of the Starfleet officers. It was told the rest of the force had the Phantom trapped at Town Hall. We managed to seal up the space portals. He can't leave the planet. He's already tried. Good. That's what we already need to know, said Ari. Then he, Harry, and Spike transformed and headed off. Another mission at Town Hall. Boy, does that take me back, Ari mumbled. They reached Town Hall in almost no time. Ari spoke with the captain, confirming the Phantom was inside, but that he had hostages with him. When he found out that we were sealed off the spaceports, he took some ponies in with him. He'll only release them if we open the spaceports for him. The team gazed at the building, worried about the hostages. There's worse to come, Major. Your parents are in there, too. What? Snapped Ari. Spike and Rarity gasped. Why are they even in this episode? They have no point to be in this episode. This has all been about Artie. And sorry to tell you this, writer, but if you wanted this to be 80% fighting, you failed. Most of this has been about Artie. Deal with it. Inside, the fan was gazing out the window. Look at them, he hissed. All they're doing is prolonging the inevitable. He turned to gaze at the hostages, all gagged up and gagged. Some were ponies he had already stolen their magic from, but now they, along with the others, were his bargaining chip. A while back on Equestria, a second fan was holding Mrs. Cake by the neck and forcing her back to the wall. Hey, you leave that cute little baker alone! Give me your power, he demanded. There is no resistance. And he was about to absorb her power. Hold it! Objection! Sorry, shouted Lightning. The fan turned and saw him and the others glaring at him. Oh no, not you guys. This is getting tiresome. When you realize you'll never stop me until at least episode 10 or 15. I guess we're just stubborn as you are, said Lightning. Now let her go. Certainly, certainly. Right, that's what I came for. And the next thing, Mrs. Cake screamed as her cue mark was stolen. The Phantom put her down, snickering wickedly. Let's get him! Shouted Lightning, and he gave chase. As they chased him, Lightning and Starlight couldn't understand how the Phantom was here and not on Monotone. He couldn't travel that fast. Shadow clone, mirror image, mirror pull. Come on, you guys can't be that stupid. Ari wasn't willing to sit down and wait any longer. I'm going in. Spike, Rarity, you come as backup. The others agreed and followed him around the same old back entrance as he knew. Just like before, it was unguarded. Not even a barrier was put up. Some phantom he is. Doesn't even make it hard, Spike whispered. This struck Artie and Rarity as odd too. Nevertheless, they made it inside the dark room. Artie and Rarity using their visors and night visions to see, while Spike used his dragon senses. Again, why Rarity? She doesn't really need to be here. Oh, by the way, using night vision goggles on their visors kind of removes all suspense here. Okay, spread out. Be careful, he whispered. They split up, searching all through the building, looking for the Phantom or hostages. Rarity and Ari used their visors to scan for pony DNA to lead to the hostages. Spike uses his dragon's super sense of smell to sniff them out. Because dragons have that! And again, using their visors to scan for pony DNA kind of really takes us out of the action. Spike had a hard time slinking about due to his larger size and his armor. He kept thinking he was being followed around by all the swishing sound he had heard. And what's all turned out to be his cape pressing against the walls. Rarity had worse, getting dust from all boxes all over her clean battlesuit, fogging up her visor, as well as making her sneeze. But she held it in each time. Easily, nothing was worse for her bumping face first into a cobweb. I was Rarity. Ew! Those things are disgusting! Ew! She did all that so she could force herself not to scream or make any sounds. Why couldn't you find some place cleaner to hide in? She whined softly to herself. Oh, that's why Rarity is there, to make fun of her! Oh, okay, as long as you're honest. Artie crept forth, knowing his way around, but he remembered everything seeming much bigger when he was a kid. Following his scanner vising, he found his way to the upper floors. And there they all were, tied up and gagged in the dark room, including his parents. Their eyes met, and the whole felt a bit strange seeing each other again, after a short while since daytime. But Artie just stood where he was, not making a move towards them. You're here, aren't you? From right behind, the moonlight shone through the windows, illuminating the snickering Phantom. You're correct, simply one. I commend it for making it this far. Unfortunately, it was all for naught. You see, I already have what I came for. Doesn't matter what happens now. Artie clenched his fist fiercely. Yeah, well, in case you haven't forgotten, you still can't leave this planet. A problem I only just now realize is no longer a concern, hissed the Phantom. Huh? The only reason I'm staying now is to prove how miserably in vain your efforts are. Artie lost the remains of his patience and lunged straight at the evil menace, but he swerved out of the way and kicked him hard down, sending him crashing through the ceiling of the roof. Ugh! He groaned as he got to his feet. His opponent looked up on the roof. You ponies are many alike. You fight and struggle for what you think is right. And so am I. Artie felt a little mad. Fighting for what's right? Stealing other ponies' magic and hurting others? Just what do you intend to accomplish and prove with all this? The Phantom listened wickedly. You'll find out soon enough, if you live that long. But even then, you and your friends won't be anywhere to stop me, and that great power that I will control. You know, this dialogue keeps switching from being decent to being utterly childish. This is an example of we got some good dialogue here, but then we have to ruin it every time the Phantom starts talking. We'll see about that, snapped Artie, quickly once again. The Phantom swerved, but this time, Artie actually managed to spin kick him from midair, knocking across the roof. I actually hit him, he announced to himself. I thought for sure he would paralyze me. Phantom got up, snickering instead of groaning. Is that your best? I thought you were capable of so much more. You haven't watched the show much, have you? The fight waged on. While in United Equestria, no, go back to Monotone, no, I do not want to be here, go back to the interesting fight, you have my interest, go back to that, don't go here, I don't want to be here, hey, people listening to this vlog, will you hate me if I skip the rest of the United Equestria stuff and just go back to Monotone? I think we're all more interested there. Alright, I will. Fine. That's fine. I'll be fine. The gang had split to cover more ground, and so many officers were scattered about, waiting for the Phantom to come by and try to detain him. He managed to avoid capture around every corner, but kept running into more officers, even having to fight a few of them. Still, the officers weren't willing to escape. Not this time. We're closing in on them. Everyone, hold your ground. Holds a patch of dirt. Not that way, you dork! The Phantom was finding it harder and harder to give them a slip. Finally, he leapt up for the rooftops when he got ensnared by Applejack's rope and Buddy's whip. They finally remembered that they could do that? Well, I guess third time is the charm. Pulled down the heart, and others fired magical streams from their horns to further bind him. We got him! Pinky cheered. Yeah! Fireside said. After that, it was a solemn yet silent moment as lightning slowly approached the other. Now, let's see who you really are! He said as he reached for the Phantom's mask and pulled it right off. Old Man Jenkins? Wait a minute. Joseph Barbera? What? Frankenstein? Bigfoot? Don Knotts? Legendbringer? What the hell? Nappa? Hey, what? Lauren Faust? And I would have gotten away with it too, if it weren't for you meddling kids. He gasped, and everyone gasped at horror at sight. I don't believe it! Lightning cried. Arnie wielded his staff, swinging it madly at the Phantom. Ow! Sing it, whiplash! But the Phantom swerved and dodged each and every swing, and finally lunged at Arnie, bashing him hard and over the side. He was forced to grab onto the eavesdropping. There wasn't enough room for him to get enough air under his wings to fly. Why do you need wings to fly? Flap, 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 flap! You just flap! What? I do it all the time! The benefits of being a Pegasus, boys. The Phantom loomed over him, and held his hand ready to fire a magical shot. Looks like you won't live long after all. But don't worry. Your friends will be joining you soon enough. And the fate shall be worse than yours. Artie tried to climb up, but he couldn't get any footing. His Phantom was ready to fire. Rarity came soaring in and kicked the Phantom hard, sending him skidding across the roof. Rarity! As he helped him up, the Phantom got on solid ground, but Spike leapt over the roof and slashed him several times with his sword. Saber Ignite! He shouted. It was powered to his finisher move, slashing at Phantom and destroying him in a small blaze. Everybody got popcorn. No serious damage was done to the roof. Oh, of course, why not? Why did you guys do that? We didn't want to destroy him! He isn't real, Verity said. Spike nodded, pulled out from the burning ashes an enchanted puppet block. I already knew it wasn't him as I got closer. I knew the sound of a pony any place, and that was not it. All three of them felt outraged to find that he had been tricked. Worse, more ponies had lost their magic marks. Still, the worst of the drama was over. Come on, let's go free the hostages, said Ari. Soon the hostages were freed. Many of them were grateful. They didn't mind the small damages done. None of them they couldn't fix. Except for, you know. A few ponies, however, were disgusted or outraged by their actions, especially Ari's folks. You still think you fight for what is good, Arthur. Look what you've done. You cost the town more money to fix itself up, and others have lost their magic and cutie marks. I helped save your lives! Again! Ari protested. Don't you give me any more of your lip! His mother looked ready to slap him in the mouth. Arthur Brisses, how dare you talk to us this way? Well, how dare you talk to me and my friends this way? I cannot believe you both. It's like those who think of you. This is why I left you. All you care about is money, more than the lives of others. All I ever wanted was to be loved and appreciated by you, to see you as our son. You never saw me as that. All you saw was another sack of gold. So now I helped save your lives, despite the way you treated me. I don't feel you deserve to be hurt, and I still think in that. The ponies and his folks were speechless as if for the first time. Ari turned to leave. Arthur, wait. Could you see what you've become? You're spouting a bunch of nonsense. You don't know anything about your business. Oh, there you go again. It's always about business. Well, the life I made isn't all about that. It's about doing what is right, and the other things that money and business doesn't bring you. I hope someday you can realize that. And one last thing. It's Artie. Okay, now spread your wings and fly away. That's the badass way of handling it. He turned and walked away. Or you can just walk away. I don't care. Spike and Rarity looked at the ponies with shame. I'm very disappointed in all of you, Rarity said. Spike agreed with her and he walked off. Finally, Grace grazed safely at the ponies. You have all this. She pointed at their mansions and prestigious palaces, and pointed at her heart and scolded. But you have nothing in here. You're all disgusting. Hey, we're not with them! Yeah, there are some of us who are kinder, you know! The other ponies remained speechless, deeply appalled at the way they were treated. But even the other ponies finally saw them as pariahs. They were swerved back to United Equestria, to tell Lightning about their fake phantom, only to find they too met with the same trickery. Their phantom was right, so they had been outsmarted, but at least they had found out more about him. First, you could travel through space if the portals were open. So portals in space would have to be kept under tight surveillance, with only proper authorization. Oh my god, again with the horrifying implications! Secondly, it was obvious that he sent those puppet clothes to protect his identity, obviously realizing how dangerous it would be with all those forces going about. Finally, of critical importance, their theories were justified. The Phantom was gathering magic in hopes of gaining a great power, but whatever power that was remained a mystery. For now, all they could do was keep alert. So, not important, not important, not important, and really not important to the rest of the plot. A few days later, Artie held a special unveiling at his gala, where he revealed that he finished the two paintings, the one of his grandfather and the other of his family. These two paintings represent what was and what could have been, and both help create what is. He said to everyone. He received applause for it all. By this time, he was friends with relatives past, and he was amazed to see how well he was acting, and taking the whole ordeal with his parents. He was really happy. I'd rather have a lot of friends who love me than two parents that don't. You know, the only way that could make this happier was if he showed off the painting of his family, all right, but of his team. He said, and everyone came to hug him warmly. Hello. On our next episode, Spike is still working on his song for Rarity, but still remains unsure of his feelings for her. Things start to get complicated for him when a new pony comes to town, and seems to catch Rarity's fancy. This new pony seems to be a bit out of place, but even more than they realize. Celestia seems to be getting more cramps. Venus's nightmares stress continue to worsen, and Ogre returns for another stab at our heroes. Can our heroes possibly deal with more trouble on top of trouble? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Starfleet Classic. Pig of Problems. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you about this, because this is going to shock me too, but this episode was rather decent. I mean, granted, it's still its problems, and it's not the greatest episode, but it's still decent. I would even say it's good. Granted, when it comes to this series, good is kind of great by now, but yeah, and I mean it. Arias' backstory is actually pretty interesting, as it really does go in depth into his character. It gives us reasons for why he wants to be a hero. It makes him compassionate and sympathetic. It actually shows off what he wants to be and why he was inspired by it. It even goes to showing why he loves to paint and how he learned to come to craft that love of painting. It also shows us how he learned to fight, why he learned to love to be wield a bow staff, and the idea that he comes from a rich family is a pretty good, you know, motive for him to be a hero. It's a pretty dang good one because it always gives us a chance to see more into a character. It gives us more of an opportunity to relate to him. I feel like this makes him more relatable because he wants to shun his past. He wants to get away from it all. He wants to throw away who he was and become new, become reborn like a phoenix. This makes him feel better as a character because, unlike everybody else, this actually gives him a chance to be equine, actually be human. I feel like this also makes him, the most natural of the group. Everybody else just feels so artificial. Artie here actually feels like I could actually want to talk to him. And now that I know about this in real life, I feel like I actually do want to go over to Arthur Bristles and maybe check out his paintings. This also makes Artie probably my favorite character on this show, because he's the only one that actually has a real background. Everybody else is just one sentence. Starla, I lost my mom, got inspired. Rhymy, I wanted to help people. Dynamite, blank. Lightning, my parents are dead. Artie, I wanted to ditch my past, move on from the riches that my family had, and become a better person. And the fact that that Lightning actually showed off a little bit of compassion for him, especially at the end. Granted, it would have been better if there was a picture at the end. The idea that they were all hugging each other, this is probably the only time that I've seen any actual love and feeling and actual emotions. This is probably the only time in this whole freaking show where they're actually acting like friends. And that everybody was actually acting chummy towards one another. Okay, now that I'm done complimenting this episode, there's still a bunch of flaws. Kudo still talks like a freaking reject out of a bad 80s cartoon. And the whole fight at the end was, well, rather dull and lifeless for something that had been built up so well earlier. Everything else was done so nicely. And also, this show is still very naive into thinking that everybody would just agree to being scanned and have an invasion of privacy. The show itself also was very, very poorly paced. Rarity again was acting out of character, and she was only here just to make fun of her. And what's more, some of the parents were way too over the top. But now that I think about it, the whole idea of a guy going off away from his rich family to prove himself to be a hero, to be more of a name, sounds very familiar. This will be the day you waited for. Oh yeah, this was done better with Weiss. Actually, at least 2 people here have backstories similar to the Ruby cast that were done better there. Starla's backstory is closer to Ruby's, and Weiss's backstory matches up with Artie's. Those 2 have far better backstories than the others, and hey, they actually work. Anyway, well, this episode was actually probably the only decent one in existence. How many people want to bet that's going to wipe out my goodwill in the next few minutes? Any takers? Any takers at all? Well, let's find out shortly next time. See you then.